Hello there everybody, it's Sean here, and I thought today it might be interesting for you, for some of you at least, to give you just a very mini tour of my home radio studio. And I appreciate this won't be of interest to most of my Facebook friends, so please feel free to scroll on by if that's the case. So we're going to walk in, and I'm very lucky that we live in a big enough house here for me to be able to devote a whole room to my radio studio, and here we are. So this is the setup that I use to record my radio show, The Prog Mill, for Progzilla Radio, and one or two other radio shows and bits of audio work that I do from time to time as well. Now, I appreciate that most of my colleagues, certainly talking to my mates at Progzilla Radio, record their shows in a different way to me. Most people probably record onto a laptop or maybe a PC or maybe an Apple Mac and record into a system such as Audacity or one of the similar digital audio workstations and basically piece it all together like a big audio jigsaw. So you import the music and then you do your voice track and then more music and then import a station promo or a jingle and this sort of stuff as well. I don't do it like that because I come from a background of over 40 odd years of working in hospital radio, community radio, RSLs, that sort of stuff. Most of that being live radio in radio studios. So now, since we moved to Devon and I built the studio back up again, I thought I just want to try and keep that live radio feel, even though most of the time it isn't live at all. But I'd still like to try and do it all as if it was. So basically I'll start recording the show and I'll do it through as a live 2-hour show and then finish the recording. And if I make mistakes in the meantime, I can go back and edit bits and pieces if I want to. But generally I just leave it as it is. And well, if I make a bit of a mess up, I think the listeners actually find that funny or they don't notice at all. So here we go. I'll just show you a little bit around the room. So that's the studio. CDs. These are my prog rock CDs. There's about 1,000 odd of them there, but of course most of the music nowadays is on the hard drives of the computers. Still got a little bit of vinyl tucked away there in the corner, but I don't really have anything to play them on nowadays apart from a little machine upstairs. And then other CDs at the back and radio books and that sort of stuff as well, featuring different types of music that I've used in other radio shows in the past. So here we go. This is the mixing desk, my trusty old D&R Airmate, which is getting on in years a little bit now, but still does the job and I absolutely love it to pieces. Microphone, Shure SM7B, which is a pretty good mic. I like those. The mic in the background is the mic that I used as my main studio mic in the past, and nowadays I keep it in case I have a guest in the studio. That's a Rode Broadcaster microphone. So everything's fed through the mixer. On the right hand side, I'll show you here. Let's just sit down. A couple of CD players, so we've got a CD there, ready to go in there. Let's just give it a go. These are Denon CD players, which you can find at a lot of radio stations. Underneath there is the Behringer headphone amplifier. And yes, that's a cassette player, although I rarely use it nowadays. Certainly not in doing the radio shows. On top of that is the playout system. This is a system called DAC Cartwall, and it's developed by a very talented software guy called Charlie Davey. If you have a look at charliedavey.co.uk, I paid for this system, but nowadays I believe he offers it as a free system. And I use this as most of the playout stuff for the Prog Mill radio show, and it's very, very easy to use, although not with one hand. So let's just have a look. Let's just give you an example of how this works. So I've loaded a jingle in. And I've loaded a track. It's very easy to put in stuff into the play cards. You simply click on it and then click down into the space and
the Prog Mill.
And now it's time for
away you go there. And it's very, very easy. So it gives me instant control over most of the audio. Music like that. Very easy to play. I won't play too much of that in case I infringe copyright on Facebook, and of course all the jingles as well.
Online at progzilla.com, via the TuneIn Radio app, and on all major internet radio platforms. This is the Prog Mill, playing your favourite progressive rock.
And that all feeds, of course, into the mixer. On top of the mixer, amplifier. I need to get a proper professional studio amplifier. That's next on the list, I think. So it all feeds through there, and then it goes into a second computer, which is over here, and that runs Audacity. And I've also got another system I use called Mixcraft Audio. What's it called? Acoustica Mixcraft. That's right, which is a pretty good system as well. Got the Focusrite 2i2 on there to convert it into digital files. And those are two DBX286 microphone processors, which are nice little bits of gear. Under there, I've got a mini disc player, which I rarely use nowadays, but it comes in handy to have it just on standby. And a third CD player underneath, which I just use for show prep, not actually during the live recordings. So it all records into Audacity. Once I've done the show and finished off the editing and all the rest of the stuff, I save it as an MP3 file at 320 kilobytes a second. And then it gets uploaded to the Progzilla radio system, and away we go. So there you go. Got the headphones here as well, of course. Good old Bayer Dynamic headphones, which I've had for donkey's years. So that's it. Hope you found that interesting. That's a very quick tour of the Progmill radio studio. And I appreciate everybody does it differently. And yeah, everybody sounds great. It doesn't matter which way you do it, as long as you're happy with it. Hope you found that interesting, and I will see you later.